Hey everyone, Matt here from The Good Trouble Show, coming to you live from an overseas undisclosed location. Clearly I don't have my nice lighting or the set, but anyway, I wanted to go over this. This happened last week at the bipartisan press conference regarding the upcoming UAP hearing.
Okay, well, and what Representative Luna and I experienced was our colleague Matt Gaetz was contacted by some folks that said that some people would like to talk about some information, some things they'd seen, and we contacted the Air Force and we flew. We were told we were going to be briefed on this issue, the UAP. I like UFO, and we got down there, and it was the traditional skiff James Bond stuff. You leave your phone, your Fitbit. We go in, and the synopsis had nothing to do. It was some pretty big, important stuff, but it was not anything to do with the UFO, and we stopped the thing rightfully right in the middle of it and said, hey, this is not what you all told us we were coming down here for. And they basically told us, we're not going to give it to you. The arrogance of this general was beyond belief.
The Pentagon, this is Department of the Air Force. It was the commanding... Oh, yeah, of course. It was the commanding general of Eglin Air Force Base. And ultimately, even before we got down there, the Pentagon actually tried to cancel the field hearing. And also, it's important to note that these were whistleblowers. These were pilots that had come forward to Representative Gaetz's office with information saying this needs to be investigated. We have an increase in sightings in this region. And it's a cause for concern for national security reasons. We don't know what it is. So we went down there. We were stonewalled. They would not give us access to testimony from some of the pilots. They were hiding images and information.
We were told there was pictures available, which we still haven't seen.
And ultimately what ended up happening is we had to actually call House Armed Services. Chairman Rogers got involved. The Pentagon got involved. The Department of the Air Force got involved. We actually got into an argument with the general of that base. And it's important to note that we were there simply to follow up on the whistleblowers that came forward with information. And so if the Department of the Air Force, if the Pentagon thinks that they're above Congress, they have something else coming to them. We told them we were going to do this if they continued to hide information. And ultimately, the American people deserve the facts.
And also, I'd like to make, for the record, numerous pilots have told us, and I'm sure they've told Representative Luna, that when they come forward with this, they're supposed to be provided some sort of whistleblower protection, but they're not. The brass will tell you they're debriefed. Well, they're interrogated for 8 hours, I believe, at some point. Then they have a blemish on their record, and then they carry this stigma. And we've been actually told that they will destroy video evidence because they don't want to have to go back in and have to be pulled off the flight line and be interrogated for 8 hours.
So the Pentagon and the Eglin Air Force Base commander attempted to derail a meeting between Air Force pilots who were whistleblowing and members of Congress. Now, what were the fighter pilots whistleblowing about? Increased encounters with UFOs over the Gulf Coast. Encounters that the pilots were actually viewing as a increased national security threat. And guess what? Air Force leadership, they weren't doing jack shit about it. So the pilots reached out to their Florida congressman for their help. Now, the Pentagon stated that, quote, Burchett and Luna, not being members of a Congressional Defense Committee, did not possess the access required to join the portion of the discussion reserved for Representative Gaetz. Now, this is actually total bullshit. The Pentagon is once again lying to your face. So here's the scoop. Representative Gaetz, because he sits on the House Armed Services Committee, already possessed the tickets or clearances to be in the room. Burchett and Luna did not. So what was the issue, or one of the issues? The issue was that the F-35s apparently captured high-resolution footage of this UFO, like really good footage, because I'm guessing that they were pretty damn close to the vehicle. Now, the optics on the F-35s, as on most airborne platforms, they're classified in a special access program. So you need that clearance or the tickets to view the intelligence product. Now, when you're a congressman or let's say a sort of like subject matter expert that is not cleared but you need to be read into a special access program due to some operational need. Congressmen or congressmen or women, they can be granted what's called a one-time read-in, and that's the name of this thing. It happens all the time. Now, the way this works, it is super simple. It's not complicated. One of the SSOs or special security officers on the base shows up to the room or the skiff, looks up their names in a computer program called DIS or Scattered Castles, make sure that they are eligible to receive this intelligence product, that they don't have some crazy thing in their background. But anyway, all of these members of Congress, they would be in this system. They are all eligible to receive intelligence product. So the next thing that happens, the SSO makes them sign a standard SCI indoctrination form listing all of the caveats of what they can and cannot talk about with that particular program. The congressmen, they sign it, they receive a briefing, this confidential or secret briefing. Then at the end of it, the SSO reads them out, reminds them of the criminal penalties, the things they can and cannot talk about. They sign the form again, they are quote unquote read out. That's it, they're done. They've seen the classified info, they've done it legally, they know what they can and cannot talk about. It's easy. And as a matter of fact, Air Force Legal Affairs could have easily pre-cleared them before they even showed up at the Air Force Base. But yeah. Anyway, so this is the sort of thing that's kind of the tip of the iceberg when it comes to the sort of shenanigans at the Pentagon. In particular, the U.S. Air Force is playing with our lawmakers. It doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat, this should really piss you off, because when our lawmakers are being blocked from speaking to Air Force pilots that are whistleblowing, that are trying to do the right thing because they know U.S. Air Force leadership is not doing their job, that should make everyone angry. So this Wednesday at the House Oversight Committee, everyone should tune in. And I think you will be rather surprised at some of the things that our Department of Defense and intelligence community has been up to that they have not been telling the American people about.